Hey, Facebook friends, I'm meteorologist Angela Buchman. I want to get you caught up on severe weather that's beginning to take place across parts of central Indiana. We are now under a tornado watch until 3 a.m. This includes Indianapolis up toward Zionsville and Frankfort, Lafayette, Crawfordsville, Greencastle, Martinsville, Bloomington, Columbus, and Point South and West. Now, I did have a viewer reach out on Twitter. Wait, Hamilton County's not included? Technically not at this point, but we don't want you to let your guard down. Even those areas that aren't under the tornado watch, there's still the threat for severe storms overnight, and we want to make sure that you stay weather aware. We do have one severe thunderstorm warning for about the next 12 minutes or so. This includes, well, it's actually out of Bartholomew County. So this one really is just impacting now the southern sections of Shelby County, issued for the potential for some large hail and some damaging winds. We also have some stronger cells near North Vernon, a few south and east of Greensburg over toward Oldenburg. So as we move out of our viewing area and closer to the southwestern sections of Ohio, we're really concerned with a couple of lines of storms. One to our south that looks to stay south. Multiple tornado warnings with this line of storms, and we've seen already some reports of damage coming out of parts of Missouri, parts of Arkansas. Locally, we're concerned with what's developing across the central sections of Illinois. All of this is moving our way. Latest look, and keep in mind it's dark, so it's going to be hard to see damage, but latest look from the chat coming out of Illinois, no major reports of damage. However, there have been several confirmed tornadoes in Illinois, and that's the line that is moving our way. Obviously hoping it weakens before it gets here, but we need to be prepared for the overnight thunderstorms. This is Future Track 13. Really, so far, done a great job on the timeline of the cluster of thunderstorms. We dealt with one earlier today, mainly rain, and then we've had a few pop-ups south and east. And then the more numerous shower and thunderstorm activity forecast to arrive closer to 11 o'clock tonight. This is 1 a.m. Provided it speeds up, it's going to be covering the eastern half of the state between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. and then clearing the state by 5 a.m. Obviously a very active night of weather, and we encourage you to stay with us and stay weather aware. I'm going to take a few questions, but I need to grab my phone, so hang on. I'm going to let you look at live Doppler 13 radar, and from this view you can see just how close the warnings are getting. Luckily for Decatur, Illinois, and just west of Champaign, that's a severe thunderstorm warning and not a tornado warning. Let me turn this down. And I'm going to try to answer as many questions. Oh, yeah. Hopening. Hopening. You caught me, Richard. That's the combination of hope and weakening. We call it hopening here at Channel 13, hoping that the line of storms out to our west weakens. So, thanks for joining us. Wayne checking in from Greenfield. Jessica hates overnight storms. I'm with you, Jessica, just because you can't really see. It's dark, so you can't see the storms coming in, and a lot of people go to bed. You don't want to wait up to see what's going to come your way, so you have to have ways of getting warnings. And I had one viewer reach out on Twitter, a concern that she could no longer get the alerts on her phone. You can't turn the emergency alerts off on your phone, and if you have, you need to turn them back on, because if you're in an area where a tornado warning is issued, oftentimes it comes for an amber alert as well, a flash flood warning, where we have a serious situation, that will override and it will alert and make a noise anyway. Want to make sure that you have the volume up on your phone, and definitely don't push do not disturb. You don't want that. All right, so we checked in with, let's see here. Donna, we appreciate you watching from Columbus. East side of Indiana, east side of Indy, that's Carol checking in. Danny wants to know about Muncie. At this point, Muncie, you're technically not under the watch, but as I mentioned as I started this, even if you aren't technically under the tornado watch, you want to make sure that you stay with us and stay weather aware, because there's still the potential for storms. Even if they don't reach tornadic levels, the storms will contain some gusty winds. And even as we start to get the colder air come in tomorrow, we could have some non-thunderstorm gusts up near 50 miles per hour. So yes, not in danger, Muncie, but definitely you want to stay abreast of what's going on as far as the weather situation. Looks like central Indiana may miss due to the system moving northeast. Now, the individual storms are moving northeast, and again, what we're hoping is that that line that did produce tornadoes in Illinois weakens before it gets here. But I can tell you, we have a very dynamic wind field over central Indiana, dynamic enough to support rotating thunderstorms. Now, does that mean we're going to get tornadoes? Not always, but we have to be prepared for that. What time for McCordsville? Hey, Tina, thanks for checking in. McCordsville, you're going to have this start to fill in sometime around midnight or so. So it's 10 o'clock now. I'd give it an hour to be into the western part of the state and then should start to quickly fill in. And I'll go hour by hour here in just a second. Any tornadoes for Shelby County at some point? It's possible. Tiffany, thanks for checking in. Obviously, we're not going to know until we get the storms into the state, see how they behave in the atmosphere that we have overhead. I can tell you they have produced tornadoes in Illinois. Potential for wind speeds, Aaron is asking. We consider anything over 58 is severe. We may have non-thunderstorm gusts at 50 during the day tomorrow, and a little hard to predict ahead of time before we get the storms going to know just how strong the winds are going to be. Let's see, it looks like it's Desi checking in from Cloverdale. Yes, Karen, they are coming across the Indianapolis area. I'm going to take a couple more questions. I have another update to do in about 8 minutes on Channel 13, so I'm going to give you another 5, and then we'll have to move on. But we'll do another one of these overnight, maybe after the 11 or closer to midnight, especially if things are turning severe. Chloe wants to know if Kokomo's in the path. Yes, all of central Indiana is. Lots of questions on timing. So let's go ahead and talk timing. Okay, Amy wants to know, how do I get alerts on my phone? Okay, Amy, if you haven't already downloaded the Live Doppler 13 weather app, just go to the App Store, download it, and then you can go to alerts. Once you're on the app, there's a drop-down menu, and I believe it's called Safety Net Alerts. So there's a drop-down menu in the left-hand side of our app. You choose Safety Net Alerts, and you can choose your current location. You can choose a couple of other locations. I have a student at Purdue, so I have West Lafayette in there. I have a student at Trine. I have Trine in there. So even if it's a dense fog advisory for Trine, I get an alert on my phone. So you also need to make sure you haven't turned the emergency alerts off. All right, let's quickly go back through this. Tornado watch until 3 a.m. Indianapolis south and west. Even if you're not in the watch, still that potential for severe storms. The warning was allowed to, actually it was canceled ahead of schedule, hit his weekend. It's now across the southeastern sections of Shelby County. Some heavy rain moving back to you, Rushville. We've got a couple of storms near Westport and then across the southeastern part of the state. This is what we're concerned with. The line of storms that extends from Milwaukee to Chicago through St. Louis. There have been numerous tornado warnings up and down this line. And then for our friends south of the Ohio River, they're concerned with that second line a little farther east. Again, multiple tornado warnings within that line. This is Live Doppler 13 radar. We're going to keep a very close eye on it over the next several hours. So we had several questions about timing. Anywhere west of Indianapolis, this is going to start to fill in over the next hour between now and say 11:30. If it moves fast enough, it'll be covering the eastern part of the state sometime around 1 to 3 a.m. And then again, if it moves fast enough, should be out of here by 4 or 5 in the morning, and then we'll just turn our attention to a much colder day. Again, I've got another update coming up on Channel 13. Let me see if I can take a couple more questions. But we appreciate you checking in. And again, if you haven't downloaded the app, it's really easy to use. We had questions about the alerts. So once you download the app, there's a little drop down. It's those little, there's like what, 3 or 4 lines in the top left. That little drop down menu has everything you need to know, and you go under Safety Net Alerts, and then you can add locations. And you add locations. There looks like a little raindrop or a teardrop in the right-hand side of that Safety Net Alert. So you click on that, and it will show all your current locations. It will also let you add additional locations. So if you haven't already, that's a great thing to have. But I'll also tell you, emergency managers will push tornado warnings from the National Weather Service that will override everything. And as long as you have emergency alerts turned on the way your phone comes, then you shouldn't have any trouble getting the warnings. You can also keep Channel 13 on overnight. Sleep with the TV on tonight. Let's see here. Derek checking in from Bloomington in the Nashville area. Let's see here. Hi, Heather. Thank you for checking in. This is a good question. What can we do if we get a tornado and you're in an RV? You definitely, RVs, mobile homes, you have to have a slightly more sturdy place to be. You want to be in the central part of your home. Basement is a great place, but if you don't have that, choose a closet, choose a bathroom, something without windows, and you want to put as many walls between you and the outside. So if you're in an RV lot or you live in a mobile home, hopefully there's a clubhouse or a central location that perhaps is a little more sturdy, and that's where you would want to go in the event of a tornado warning. What are the chances for tornadoes in Nineveh? All of us, that potential exists until it doesn't exist, and we're not going to be out of that existing until the early part of tomorrow morning. Noblesville, thank you for checking in. Kelsey, you're in the same boat. We're going to be dealing with the threat for severe storms through at least 3 or 4 in the morning. Same with Plainfield. Hi, Brian. Thank you for checking in. Donnie from Ellettsville in the Bloomington area. Stacy asking about the strength of the tornadoes in Missouri and Illinois. I don't know. In order to figure out where it ends up on the enhanced Fujita scale, National Weather Service has to survey the damage, and they do that obviously once we have daylight. So we'll know more information as we get into tomorrow and Sunday and early next week, because unfortunately this looks like a fairly large outbreak in terms of tornadic activity for parts of Missouri, Illinois, Arkansas, and now that's starting to move into Kentucky, western Kentucky and western Tennessee. April checking in from North Vernon. Bryce asking, are the chances high for tornadoes? Not high, it just can't be ruled out. Again, the wind field in place supports rotation. Even if we get a rotating storm, doesn't necessarily always mean a confirmed tornado, but it's something that we're going to monitor live Doppler 13 radar for you. And I'll be here until Lindsay gets in, so we're going to kind of hand off. And obviously we'll do more live coverage if necessary. All right, I've got to get to Channel 13. We will see you at 11 for a full report, and then as necessary, we'll do some additional Facebook Lives during the overnight hours. Thanks so much for joining us.